yeah.
And I started going back and thinking to myself, when was I at my last straw? I'm gonna share something with y'all, right? I'm gonna share something with y'all. I remember I was driving down the Belt Parkway in Brooklyn, and I had lost my job. I had two babies. One was, I think, maybe 7 weeks old. All right, and I just knew that I couldn't talk to my parents. I felt like I couldn't even talk to Pat and Gary. Nobody. And I'm driving, and I'm saying, I'm being straight with y'all. If I drive off this cliff,
Mm-hmm.
right,
Mm-hmm.
right where the Belt Parkway and the Rockaway Boulevard meet, there's an opening that you just go right into the water.
Yep.
Oh, I know
I
Mm-hmm.
exactly
said,
what you're talking
I
about.
know
I
exactly
s-
where that spot is.
okay. I said,
Starred
if I
City.
hit right off Start City, that's right.
Yep.
I said, if I go off the side, then those who fired me will feel bad. Those who talked about me will feel bad. And I don't have to do this anymore. Yo, let me tell you something. I have never felt at that point, I've never felt so ready to just be like, I'm out. And God, excuse me, but, save me.
Mm.
All right. All right. Let me tell you something. The only thing that brought me out of that was it wasn't even windy. It was it was my what's it called again? It was my ego. You know what it was? I don't want nobody raising my kids.
Mm.
It wasn't even spiritual. It
Mm.
wasn't spiritual. It wasn't like an epiphany. It wasn't like the Lord came down and touched the wheel. I was like, you know what? I don't want no one raising
Mm.
my kids.
Yep.
Mm.
But can I
And
ask
and
this?
and that
Oh,
and that's what made me go home.
Did you
can
That's
I
what
go
made me go
out
home.
there intentionally, or were you just driving and had the thought?
Just driving.
Okay.
Just
can
driving.
I ask this question too? Because this is kind of where I'm leaning to in this season of my life. I think I give difficulty and challenge too much credit.
Okay.
And the
Unpack
reason
that.
why
You said you
and the
passed that this?
No, I said unpack that. That's
Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
the reason why I'm saying credit for all the things we allow it to do. Like I put too much expectations on the job that I have. That it's supposed to, I have this idea that it's supposed to do X, Y, and Z for me. And when it doesn't do X, Y, and Z for me, I get bent out of shape. And the truth of the
Wow.
matter is, was that thing supposed to be X, Y, and Z to me? Do you know what I mean? Whatever I classify, okay, case in point, Sade and I are in some heavy discussions right now over a book that we're reading. And we're going back and forth about some of the stuff and some of the stuff that I like in, let's just, because we talk about relationships a lot. In my past relationships, in places and spaces that I was hurt in, I think sometimes I gave too much room to a person to be X, Y, and Z in my life. And I don't think that they were ever supposed to be X, Y, and Z in my life. Case in point, we're reading some stuff on Friends. And sometimes there were some people that came into my life that was supposed to be an associate.
Okay.
But because I thought that, okay, there were some things that were reminiscent of what a friend should be,
Hmm.
I made them and put them in the friend category when truly they were supposed to be nothing more than an associate. Then when we clash in relationship and things don't go the way that I thought that they would go because I put expectations on you to be a friend when you really weren't a friend, now I'm all bent out of shape. And I see the parallels in life where when I lose, like I'll use your example, Pete. Many a times I've had a job and working in and then the contract is over or something happens and I lose the job and I'm pissed and I'm hurt. and
Uh-huh.
all of these different things because I had expectations for the contract to turn into full time, or instead of it being 5 months, it was supposed to be 16 months and they cut the contract short. And then I'm starting to think, like, why did you put all those expectations on that particular thing? You
You're
understand what
talking
I'm
about
saying? Like,
why did you
why did
put all the
I do
expectations?
that? Why did I
Okay.
give this opportunity, this thing, these people so much? What's the word I'm looking for in my life?
So if
You
I can
know,
give the flip side of that though, I think a lot of times we're told something so we believe it.
Hmm.
Right? Like Quest, if they told you, hey, this contract is supposed to be 16 months, your expectations were realistic.
Hmm.
It's that when reality and life clash, it can be hard. And
But
I
I
think
think sometimes because they tell us that, we forget the flip side too, that there's a truth that nothing is promised. You know what I'm saying? Nothing in life. And I mean, there's a balance in between the two, of course. But yeah.
so there's this whole idea of nobody, and this is like such a double negative, but nobody owes you nothing,
mhm,
Mm.
and we don't even owe ourselves anything, right? But I think we put, I always look at life as a story, and there's chapters in the story, and then there's a narrative, and then there's an ending, right?
Okay.
Put and give people main characters in the story that changes the trajectory of the story.
Mhm.
And it's not until later on that we realize what we've done. But if you think about it, our traumas sort of lead us in, or forget the word traumas, our experiences, our lived experiences lead us down a path where we do that. Quest, you talked about giving people like friends, and and making them into something that they really were never meant to be. you
Mhm.
know Again, once that relationship sours, then you kind of realize that. And I don't know, I've always struggled with, like, is that the forgiving God we serve, right? That we are
Mm.
to trust, wholeheartedly, versus having people earn our trust. And that has always been an internal struggle for me. It's like, do I give you a rope and you can do whatever you want to do with this rope? Or do I ease my way into a relationship with you?
Yeah, I think one of the things that I have not learned in life, and I think how I was trained as a pastor was, and I'm going to be straight, y'all, was I needed the approval of people to be where I needed to be.
My.
mhm, mhm,
Even when you move to one church to another church, it's somebody's approval.
mhm.
If you preach well or you don't preach well, it's somebody's approval. And can you imagine going through all of that and then not getting the approval of a wife? And then imagine going through all of that and you're not getting the approval of your children. And then the bank account's not working out. And this is that and what have you. You can't even turn to people because you end up finding out these people that you thought are your friends are really associates.
That part.
Okay. And I found that so many, I'm not just saying ministers, so many men, and we could say women too, but I just want to bring this out. There's so many men, we cover our crap so much that that we never deal with how we need to deal with certain things. And I give you an example. I went to my dad the other day, and I'm saying this the other day, right? Because this was not long ago. I said, Dad, I'm dealing with this, I'm dealing with that, I'm dealing with the other, because I can say it. I just hope now that as he's in his dementia, that he ain't gonna say my business. All right. But my dad was like, yo, boy, you need to find a hobby. That's exactly what he said to me. You need to find a hobby. And I'm like, how's that gonna help? Find a hobby.
Oh man, P.
But I
And
think if
and
we, go
go
ahead.
no, go ahead, sis. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I think if we go back to Armina's question about trust, right?
Mm,
I think a lot of times, well, no, no, no. Let me not talk for anybody else except Sade. In the past, it has been, I don't trust myself enough to wait to see who you are. So I'm just going to accept you for who you are, and then we'll figure out what happens as we go along.
is that good or bad?
Horrible.
Yeah.
That's horrible, because what I'm saying is I long for relationship more than I do healthy, right? Like, because I desire a relationship, and I'm not even just saying like boyfriend, girlfriend, just people
No, in general.
in general, because this is something that I like, because this is something that I desire, I'll forget what Sade needs as a whole person to fulfill this 10% of who I am. And then when you mess up, it's your fault, instead of me saying, you know what, I should have chosen differently.
Yes, ma'am.
Mm.
Yes, ma'am.
Yesterday, I went out and I had a gentleman ask me, he said, "So why are you single?" And I said, "Because at some point in my life, I loved someone else more than I loved myself." And the look on his face was like, "I'm sorry, what?" And I was like, because I can't look at the other person and always say, like, well, they did this and I didn't trust myself enough, and I didn't trust God enough to wait for certain things.
Yep.
So I started moving and I started doing, and it's like, well, in some situations, the loss of a relationship is the consequence of my own actions.
Pretty much.
And I'm gonna tell you right now, the problem with Paul Graham is that he does not grieve properly people who needs to be out of his life.
No, we grieve it by filling the thing with the very thing that got us in trouble in the first place.
Yes.
Man, I hate you. Why don't you just go back to faith for tonight and then?
I'm sorry.
But
I'm sorry.
Let's examine it for a minute. All of us who have done relationship before, right? I've never said this. Sade, I shared something with Sade today. Sade, this is another thing I've never said publicly. One of the things, and I'm gonna say this, and I'll never say it again. There was a young lady who broke my heart. I'm not gonna say what state or city she's from. Broke my heart. I was in love with this chick, and about, I'd say 2 to 3 years later, I got married. Still dealing with some of that stuff. And that was in 2003. I got married, and I was divorced in 2005. Was it the sole reason for everything? No, it wasn't. But it played a role in my decision-making process, because you can't make good decisions when you're not properly healed.
I'm with that. But how about not being healed for all these years? How about not being healed in a marriage, right?
Yeah.
Not being healed. And I'll say this because I know that Terry got something to say about this, but let me just give you another example based on what you're saying.
Excuse me.
Um,
Excuse me. My
Can you
twin
let me
is in the waiting room. Please let her in.
in?
Thank you very much.
yeah, I don't like the glasses she's wearing. I don't like the glasses.
It's just giving me,
They're regular glasses. What are you talking about?
hey,
That's my cat.
that's my twin.
That's my
Hello.
that's my cat woman right there. That's cat woman.
Thank y'all for loving on me, twin. I appreciate
You know
it.
what I'm
All
saying?
to me.
Yeah.
So I gotta say this, right? And I think this is fair enough. Let's say my bosses are listening to me. Let's just say my supervisors are listening to me or what have you. Let me share this with y'all. That approval addiction thing is real.
Oh, it's very real.
It is so real. It's so real that you want approval from everyone. And when does it come a time when you start loving on yourself enough that you're willing to say, I want to be in a place in my life when I'm willing to say, you looked at me funny, and you know what? You'll never look at me like that again because I won't be looking at you. I don't live like that. I hear people talk like that and be like, yo, I want that. Like Patrick, my brother Patrick, he does some things. I'm be like, what? He be in a meeting and tell somebody, yo, you just grimy, and me, I'll be like, well, the Lord is working on us.
Pause for a moment, Paul. You know what allows Patrick to do what he's doing right now? It's because of what he's experienced, and having to deal with it. I think you asked a solid question. At what point do you, when you've taken enough L's and you're sick and tired of being sick and tired?
And when you sit with someone who helps you process why you've taken so many L's.
That part.
Because again, part of it is my own actions have led to this consequence. Some stuff
So
is simple,
you put it on yourself. You're putting it on yourself.
What would happen though if we sat in it, because that relationships is two people? What would happen if I just took the focus and always put it on the other person? I totally neglect. It's not a one-way street. One person didn't get us here, right? Two people got us here, right? What role did I play? That's all that matters right now, especially if we're not together or even when we are together. What role did I play in all of this?
Mhm,
That's
mhm.
Well,
okay,
Sam,
man.
y'all
Y'all
bring me up to speed. Bring me up to speed. Just short synopsis. Where we at? What's going on?
We're just talking about how is it that some of us have the personality that allows people to just trample all over it, and we still take them back. We still try to find that
Good.
soft spot, where others are like, yo, you got one time, son. And once you got that, I'm done.
Armina, are you like that? Are you like that? Because I think Leah's like that. But are you like that?
I am not.
Leah,
But
are you like that?
Indeed, I am.
yeah,
I,
listen,
Terry, are you like that, Terry? Wait,
Always
hold
been
on,
like
Terry. Are you like that?
yes, he
Yes,
is.
I am.
Wow. You
I get
stinking
that from Terry and
clinicians.
Leah.
All these
I ain't
stinking
always been
clinicians
like
are
that,
like
but I'm
that.
like that now.
No,
But it's
I'm not like
something
that.
that
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry, Mia. I'm sorry.
it's
Okay, I'm
something
sorry.
that it's something that Quest said earlier. Okay, we are basically um, we are made up of all of our experiences. You see what I'm
Okay.
saying? And when you've had enough crap happen to you, you see what I'm saying? I said a truly healed person is hard to date because they can point out all the red flags of everything they see. You see what I'm saying? And so it's just like, you know what? That feels like something I've been through before. You know what? This reminds me of the Matrix. I'm in it. I'm getting out of it. You can't tell anybody how, you see what I'm saying, to love you. What you can do is what? See how they and decide if you want to participate in that or not. And so if you keep going back to it, there's something about that keep pulling you back in and back in and back in. And guess what? You are not fed up until you're fed up.
My.
Mm.
You
And to
fed
that
up.
point, I think it's even beyond fed up. When you realize that you are inflicting self-hurt to better someone else, to love someone else, it's like, you know what? I matter too. And if I don't matter to anybody else, I should matter to myself. And in setting, because what you're really doing is setting boundaries.
Yeah. You know what,
This is what
Sade?
what's
What you're saying though is when you start that healing process, you start to redefine that,
yeah.
right? Because you're not saying that you don't want real relationships, right? Because we all have that desire. But what I will not do is, and then fill in the blank, because you're redefining, like you said, those boundaries, you're redefining those relationships, and you're actually redefining who you are on this journey. I don't think we ever arrive. I think we're
Mm.
consistently on that healing path, because if I, Armina, ever think I've arrived, that is when I am triggered the most, and to the point where I lose my footing, and it's
Right.
almost like this earthquake under me, and I got to like catch it again.
You better pray.
Mm.
I have to be very, vigilant, mindful of the journey that I'm on.
And
Wow.
when you
Hold on, please. One second, please. Just 1 second. Leah, I got to ask this question because we started somewhere when you weren't here, but I'm going to ask you this question. I may even go around the clock on this. Can you identify a time in your life where you've decided that I got to be thinking about Leah?
Oh yeah,
Can you?
most definitely.
I mean, can you
That's a
share?
quick
If you
one.
can't share, can you share it? If not, it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, I would say in my earlier relationships, right? I think that as humans, we are often conditioned and groomed into being individuals that we don't even know how we've become who we've become
Hmm.
because
Mm.
of the need of another individual. Most times it happens in our early childhood years, right? That our parents have conditioned us to show up for them in a certain particular way. We take that on and we take it into adulthood, right? And
Mm.
then it is at that time where you begin to evaluate whether or not that works for you or it doesn't.
Mm.
And so for me, I began to see very early on that some things that my parents desired for me was not what I desired for me, and I had to choose me.
Mhm.
And
Mm.
that was the start of me beginning to choose me in any relationship,
Mhm.
Wow.
romantic, children, all of that, right? Because our children can pull from us. And there's moments that I had to let them know I'm going to need y'all to relax
Wow.
because
Wow.
mama got to take care of mama. If mama doesn't do
Wow.
that, then mama is unhealthy, right? For you. I have to be able to model what being healthy and whole looks like. So
Yep.
it happened
Listen,
in all of my relationships.
I got you. I got you. Hey, Terry, I really want to ask, and if you can, same thing, really, same thing. Can you identify a time in your life where you was like, yo, this is where I got to take care of Terry? And if you could say yes without, without giving an example, but if you can give an example, I'd love to know.
Sure, I'll share. Um, my it happened. It happened towards the end of my marriage. When I realized that we had a disagreement about something, and I made a list of everything that I was paying for and doing, and the list got long. I was like, "Damn! Oh, my bad. Can we say that on this show?" And
Yeah.
I was
It
like,
holds your dams hold water. Just go ahead.
"Okay, I thought that was Patron you was drinking. Okay, it was water. All right, it looked like Patron from back here." Black people kill Patron. Anyway, that's another story. And so the deal is that getting towards the end, I was like, you know what? I'm sitting here doing everything: cook, clean, wash, iron, sew, do hair, all this stuff I can do. And I'm like, this stuff ain't being valued. And then when I decided to shut it down and start thinking about myself or moving towards that's when everything started to kind of go downhill in my
Okay.
estimation. Okay.
Right. Right.
When I started to say, you know what, I'm just not doing that anymore. I'm gonna go visit my mom. I'm hanging out with my side of the family. I'm doing things with my side of the family. All of a sudden, things started going bad. So yeah, a lot of times people don't like when they are used to, you know what I'm saying, you doing everything, and now you're starting to think about yourself. Oh, now you're selfish. Oh, now you're this. And so now the gaslighting starts. You see what I'm saying?
Ah.
And
Ah.
that's like, wait a minute. And so if you're not on top of that, then you will fall right into it. Because going out, I got a lot of gaslighting. How can you gaslight me? I'm a therapist. What? I'm like, I know exactly what you're doing. I'm like, really? Is that what you thought? Okay, great. You can have that.
Okay.
But one
Okay.
thing you said I want to go back to that I don't want us to skip over. You talked about this being Men's Mental Health Month and the grief and everything he was going through. I think we need to go back and revisit that, but we can go ahead with this.
We can come back to that. I want to go to Armina, and thanks for that. Thanks for setting us on that path right there. Armina, you and I, we have the same kind of mindset, right? I think in this, right? What
Yeah.
is your fear of taking a stand and being as rigid as the others? And it may not be a fear, but what is your fear?
So the first thing that comes to mind, and I'm not even sure that this is it, but
Okay.
is that the fear of being lonely.
Mm.
You
I
know,
hate
You're
you. I
almost
don't like
come
none of y'all. I don't like none of y'all. I don't like none of y'all. Let's just go.
on. Asphyxiation is happening here. What is going on?
uh, and I think it has this is a hard show for me because I think this show is digging into some things that I would choose not to deal with, right? And it's reminding me of lived experiences, and I just, I am a. So the crazy thing is, I'm afraid of being alone, but I'm a loner. And I think I'm a loner because that's my defense mechanism. That's my protective factor is if I stay to myself, it doesn't matter if people are around me or not because I prefer, and I'll tell anyone any day, I prefer to be laid on the couch watching Lifetime. Okay. I could do 10 movies on Lifetime and that's my happy place. But everyone thinks I'm an extrovert. Everyone's like, oh my gosh, you have all these friends, you know so many people. And it's like the thing it takes for me to be that, it's one of the hardest things because I like to retrieve. I like to just sit and just be by myself. But the lifestyle I have, the family I have, the career path I've chosen doesn't allow for that. So whenever I get that moment, oh my goodness, I'm like, I'm not responding to a text. I'm not responding to a phone call. So to answer your question, I think I am afraid that I will be rejected. And so I tend to find some of the silver lining in things, even if it means that that doesn't take care of me. And so, but I am learning in this day, 2025, screw all y'all. Like I'm good. Like I think I am at the point where I feel as though you either rocking with me or you're not. Like my days of trying to explain myself, over explain myself. If you really know me, then you would know the intentions, even if it looks something differently, right? And so we were talking about friendships, right? We're talking about people who get to sit in the front row of your life. And if
That's
you
it.
have a seat in the front row, then please don't question anything I do because you know me,
Woo.
know that part of me. Even if it comes across and it looks a little crazy or it looks a little different, do you know me, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah, yeah, yeah.
you you wouldn't come at me sideways, you wouldn't come at my neck, none of that.
Or
You-
if it's different than what you're used to, you would be concerned, not upset, right? Like if Armina acts in a way where I'm like, that's not really how Armina typically acts. I'm coming to you out of concern, like I'm checking on you. I'm not checking you. You get the difference? If I'm sitting at the table, I'm looking at it like something's not right with how that's not her normal self. What's going on? Like I'm concerned. So I'm coming to check on you instead of
you-
checking
you-
you.
But
But
That's the importance of
that one
being able to
simple
discern.
sentence.
the
Yeah.
Yeah.
simple question is, you good? That's
You
the simple.
good.
You good? Because if you
yeah,
say that to me, that's like checking me on what I just did, and then that opens up the door for conversation. You know,
and here's the issue. The issue. Let me tell you what and it's going back to what Terry was talking about earlier to put us back on a certain path. You see how Leah and Armina and Sade, how you're able to articulate all of that, right? I find that you good always ends with in the conversation with a guy, I'm good. And that's it. And I'm going to go as far as to say this also.
That's
Um,
because it's a closed question. Yes, no.
but
Doesn't open up, right?
so let me just preface that. That was for me, and I was talking about the people in my front row, right? And so I'm not just talking about people who I'm building relationships with, because yes, you're always gonna get the yeah, I'm good, even if I am crashing in
yeah, yeah, yeah,
that
yeah,
moment. I'm gonna
yeah.
yeah, I'm good because you can't see the crashing happening on the outside. I have
Let me
learned
say
past that.
let me say this real quick. Armina, I have to say this that you have described my life, right? I have found that even for me, I've become close with people because I don't want to be alone. Even in the day, right? Because in my job, especially since after COVID, I don't work like I used to work in pastoring. Or you understand where I'm coming from? Man, I'm by myself.
Mhm.
And alone is not just being by myself. Alone is like, who do I call? Because everybody who's on my list for calling are church folk. You
Mhm.
understand where I'm coming from? So if Pat's busy, I'm alone. Wife is at work, I'm alone. And the fear is being alone. No matter, I don't even care how you try to break that down. And I feel a lot of times that I like doing what you do. Is just recently I've decided to watch. I watch certain shows, and it's got to be in the past. In the past when I had no bills. In the past when I was not married. In the past when I had no kids. Sanford and Son, All in the Family, Good Times. That's what I watch at night before I go to bed. All right, I'm gonna tell you that right now because it takes me to a place. I think that if I could, I'm just listening to what you're saying, right? foster relationships, and not just you, Quest, right? Because me and you, Quest, we don't talk all the time like we should be. That's right. But if I or if some men can foster relationships where you can vomit everything out and know that it's not going to get somewhere, I think it'll be easier to handle the challenges in life.
So I have
I'm
a
gonna tell you
question.
that right now.
I have a question for you.
Right.
Does a safe space look like for you though?
I'm gonna tell you right now, and because my wife knows this, and please, I don't want nobody to massage this any which way they want to massage. I have 4 girlfriends.
Hmm.
I have 4 girlfriends. I have 4 platonic girlfriends, and I find it easier to talk to my girlfriends about certain things than, um, you know, I just feel like like they understand. Do you
Okay.
understand where I'm coming from?
What is it that makes
Um,
it easier for you to share it with them than it does to share with Wendy?
oh no, I share it with Wendy. I share it with Wendy, but I get a different perspective.
Ah,
Do you understand where
so
I'm
it's the
coming from?
perspective that's different.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. And she knows. Are you understand where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
I just find that I'd rather hang out. Now I know Terry is my brother, my brother's friend. I always say that. Me and Pat always say that Terry's my brother's friend, right? But I can imagine hanging out with Terry and just hanging out. I can imagine hanging out with Quest. I don't want to get deep with Terry. I want Terry to hang out with me the way he hang out with Gary. Oh, you understand where I'm coming from? So I'm not just here vomiting my own issues. What I'm saying to you is that there's a lot of men who call me, and I feel like, hey, dude, I can't really deal with that, even on the spiritual level, right now, because um, because when we talk, I just feel like the way that I'm able to talk to people is by my experiences. And my experiences are not holy experiences. My experiences are not always the pastoral experience or this, that, and the other. And so I'm only sharing this as we open up a little bit more that there definitely is a deficit with men being able to not just express themselves, but feel safe at expressing themselves. I feel safer, and I'm going to be careful. I feel safer doing crazy stuff with my cousins and uncles who are not Adventists
Hmm.
than with people who are Adventists and what have you. Hence my trip to
But you
Jamaica
know why
coming up.
that is, though? You know what that
Mm,
is? Because there's no judgment there.
Hmm.
There's no judgment. Judgment does what? It blocks gold. Blocks what you're trying to get accomplished. It blocks.
uh-huh.
You see what I'm saying? And so
Got
you
you.
go and hang out with the folks. You see what I'm saying? I give you an example. So when I was at
Okay.
Andrews, we used to play ball all the time, right? So all the seminary guys come over there, all from Oakwood, and we would always get into it. So I got invited to go over to where the seminary guys went, which was Ruth Murdoch. So I went
Yes.
over to play with them one night. I went over
Yes.
there to play with them one night, and when I tell you, in the words of my mother, they cut the stone monkey. I was like, are y'all supposed to be pastors? Man, y'all worse than. And he said, and I don't know if Pollard said this to me. I don't think it was Pollard. It was somebody before Pollard. It might have been. I don't know. But no, it was somebody else. And he said, that's why we have this part over here for us, because people ain't gonna understand how we get down when we over. And I said, you know what? I can get on with the best of y'all. Let me go ahead. Give me a couple of them swears. I'm gonna say some stuff to you. The deal is, I wanted to ask you this question. Have you ever felt alone in a crowded room?
Terry, I was gonna ask the exact same thing.
I was
Oh
gonna
my
ask you
God.
that, and I was gonna ask Amina that.
Yep.
You ever feel alone in a crowded room?
Let's start with Armina. And if anyone heard the question also, and I'll answer.
Oh, and by the way, hold on.
This is you, Armina. Start with you. Start
Wait,
with you.
hold
And
on.
if anyone wants to answer the question, you can answer the question in the chat. I want Armina to answer because
Let me answer this for JoJo. Yes, JoJo. I was what was her question she asked me? Yeah, I was under, what did she say?
Underappreciated, I think it was. You
Yes, I
said.
was not appreciated. Okay, go ahead. So, and then I'm gonna let Leah answer answer that stuff when y'all give the answer.
Come on, Amina, you first. You first. Have you ever
Yes,
felt alone in a okay? Well, what did it feel like? Don't yes us.
I couldn't wait to leave. And at different times it was for different reasons. Sometimes it was I felt devalued. Sometimes it was I just didn't feel like I was connecting. So in those spaces, sometimes I'm thinking I'm the problem, not that they're the problem. And
Okay.
so I'm trying to figure out a way to gel in. I'm trying to figure out a way to sort of blend in. And sometimes my quirkiness comes through because I'm trying so hard. Right. Until again, recently, I'm just like, yeah, I'm not doing that. Like,
Uh,
you see these grades right here. I've earned my grades. And
me too.
I'm just not doing it. So yes, Terry, I do feel alone sometimes in spaces. And I don't know about the other therapists, but as a therapist that caters to a very small population and lives in a very small area, it is really hard to make friends because there's a certain level of vulnerability that it takes that I'm not willing to give up because of what
Mm.
I do.
And I
Wow,
think
wow, wow.
what I'm hearing Mina say, and Mina, let me know, again, not just putting it solely on you, but I think that this could be widespread, is a lot of times you just don't feel safe, right?
Oh yeah.
Mm.
So when Sade asked a question about, whatever it was, like what does safety look
What
like?
does safe look like?
I
Yeah.
am beginning to even question if that exists because
Woo.
where in multiple places where I thought could potentially be safe has proven to not be that. And because I've gone in saying I'm going to trust, I'm this time around, I'm just gonna trust this process. And I realized very quickly on that what I thought was safe isn't. And it goes back to Quest. Quest had mentioned, early on in our conversations about expectations, right? But Quest, you left out a word, and it's the unspoken. I have
That
a
part.
expectation of the relationship, and maybe I thought I communicated it, but I didn't really fully communicate it until something goes wrong, and then those expectations come out. Like, wait a minute, this wasn't supposed to happen. But if
Mhm.
I really think about it, we didn't have a conversation about what this relationship should even look like.
Yeah.
I
And it's
think,
hard to do, especially if you approach a relationship guarded.
But that's
and
what I was speaking
it's
to
hard to
when
do
we.
if we believe that everybody shares our same morals and values, right?
Mhm.
If I believe everybody communicates this way, or everybody shares this way, and when you come out of it, like, I have to listen before I say, yeah, this person's going to fit in my life, because we don't believe the same things fundamentally.
Yes. And
This
so, as
isn't.
a therapist, if I'm teaching people how to really build healthy relationships, I have to practice that too.
Mhm.
You know what's so funny? P, you might have seen it a couple of times, and Leah, you might have seen E operate like this a couple of times. I used to be funny, like, yo, we would bump into people like, yo, E, we need to do something together. And he was like, well, what you thinking about? I don't know just yet. He was like, well, when you figure it out, call me. I used to be like, damn, E, they just trying to, you know what I'm saying? And I'm tripping, but the fact is, that's my brokenness speaking, because you really do need to communicate and tell me. Because first of all, when I'm operated, people who operate in health start categorizing. Okay, what slot of these are you going to fall into? Because the
Fall
truth is the
into.
truth. There's takers and there's givers all out throughout these, and takers take. And they don't care. And when you don't got nothing else to give, them jokers move on to somebody else. And givers give until they don't got nothing else to give. And them jokers run into a doggone breakdown. And so I need to know, to protect myself, right? Who am I dealing with? A friend, an associate, an advisor, as we would,
Man.
right? Like, who do I need to, or an assignment? Because sometimes, and this is the reason why it's important too, Mina, when you were talking about referencing what we were talking about in terms of unspoken expectations, because sometimes you think that just because this has the characteristics of a friendship, but really it's somebody that you were assigned to, when they don't reciprocate what you put out simply because they can't. You in a place of wisdom and experience. You said you paid for the gray hairs. I believe you. And when I share wisdom with you, sometimes if you're not careful, you'll expect something in return. And when you don't get it, I'm bent all out of shape and stuff.
Right.
The problem ain't with them, it's you. You didn't
It's me.
properly
It's me.
designate what this person was. So
And
yeah.
it also depends on where I am in my life.
Yeah.
If I'm in a low place, I'm going to be more affected by that thing versus if I'm feeling myself that day. If I'm feeling myself, man, I could do a Terry, I could do a Leah, and I'm going to tell you a few things about yourself. But
right.
I'm in a place where, and I've been in that place lately where I'm just trying to figure my life out. What are my next steps? Like, what am I doing? How am I leaving a legacy? And so in those spaces, my circle becomes very small because there's too many opinions if it still is broad. And now once I've decided and I come up for air, if you still there, great, we're gonna rock and roll together. But if you're not, it's okay too.
What's that term that you use, Terry, for pastors who be trying to counsel outside of your documented
documentable competencies?
Okay, good. Sometimes in our lives, right, we get people who walk in as associates trying to give you advice. And what I'm learning is that there's a difference between a person who gives advice and an advisor. An advisor suggests that you've lived some experiences. You got a little well of wisdom to draw from, all right? And people who just give advice, it's like booty holes. Everybody got one. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Really
and sometimes, and
I
so,
really didn't know where that was going.
I'm
And
sorry.
an advisor, Quest, is someone that you seek out and you approve and you say, I want you in this particular space.
But the person that you're approving has to be worthy of an advisor. You have had to live and have some wisdom and a well of knowledge to draw from. Some people who are associates who just want to give you advice for the sake of giving you, the intentions are well, but you do not have the documented competencies.
I'm with you all the way. That's what I'm saying. Is anyone in the role of advisor someone that you have sought out because they have proven that in whatever particular area of your life that they have something that is grounding you to be able to move your life forward.
Absolutely. So what are the categories? What are the categories?
Categories of what?
Friend, associate. What are the categories?
Oh, we were from what
we're a definition. Like, how do
we not definition.
Who they are?
I tried to write it down. I don't think I got it all.
From what we're reading right now, like for real, you got friends, you got associates, you have advisors, and you have assignments.
Okay, advisor. So I missed the advisor. So you have a friend, associate,
assignment,
and advisors. I got you. I got you.
And
I got you.
So here's the thing, too.
Did you say an op?
The op.
The op.
The OPT op.
I'm serious. You know what I'm saying?
Operatives.
They be right in the camp with you. You know what I'm saying? Right in the camp with you. If you watching, I watch, what is it? Godfather of Harlem. You know what I'm saying? I love that show. And the last one, they got the Panthers in there. And one of the guys in the Panthers was working with the police. You see what I'm saying? And it's just like, and that happened all throughout, life. But there's sometimes people, there are ops within your organization. But again, you guys keep talking about expectations. Remember what I said a long time ago? Relationships ruined for 2 words and wrapped up inside one. What are that? Expectations and assumptions. Look at any relationship that has gone bad. There was some expectation that wasn't met and some assumption that it would be met. Ever have these type of arguments? Well, I expected you to do that. You're supposed to be the man of the house. Well, I assumed you were going to do that because you're supposed to be the boy mother. But you haven't had that conversation. And I think that's kind of something that...
Or the all-famous phrase, you should know that.
Yeah, you should know that. But a closed mouth don't get fed. You see what I'm saying? And so what you find is that you're going through this relationship and people are expecting people to show up in ways and do things in ways that they never had a conversation with them about. Then when it goes bad, it's like, well, wait a minute, how did I know? And like Quest said, well, you should have known that. How would I know that if you haven't shared that with me? You're just supposed to assume, especially in this millennium, okay? It ain't like it used to be. See, back in the day, everybody kind of knew their role. You see what I'm saying? Everybody knew their role. Now, roles have switched, changed, reversed, and you got guys that are, I deal with them every day, and like Leah does too. These guys are living with women, you know what I'm saying? And you're like, yo, dude, how you over here living with, and you ain't got a job, you ain't doing whatever. Now she has become, you see what I'm saying, the main source of.
But people are going to do what works.
Right. And so expectations,
even if it don't work,
wrapped up in selfishness. That's what it is. It's wrapped up in everybody's trying to get their needs met without trying to figure out. Let's have this conversation prior to. You see what I'm saying? Let's have this conversation. What are your expectations of me? Like I said, if you go out with somebody and you say, hey, you're thinking, I want a stay-at-home wife. Okay, if that's your plan. You meet somebody online, y'all go out. Y'all talking, what does life look like and blah, blah, blah. And she says, well, I want to be a stay-at-home wife and blah, blah, blah. You're like, ooh, I think this is my kind of woman. And so you grab her up and marry her without asking the next important question. Tell me what a stay-at-home wife looks like to you. We don't ask the questions. You see what I'm saying? Tell me, what are you doing?
Well, Jojo was asking this question to you. I'm sure to you, Terry, as you're talking right now. So, are you saying relationships were better when roles are established?
Relationships are always better when people know what position they're supposed to be playing. You ever watch sports? And I'm going to use Isaiah because Detroit's my team. Isaiah's bringing the ball up, or the guard is bringing the ball up. What you see him? You see him do this. You see what I'm saying? He throws up that finger. Everybody's supposed to know what that finger means. When it doesn't, what happens? Time out. And you go to the sideline, or you're on the floor, you pull him close to you, which is usually the big man, because you don't know where to be. Man, you're supposed to be okay. See, when you don't know your role, when you out of position, you get scored on. You lose. You will never get the championship ring because you don't know your position and you're not playing that. But if you talk, that's why you have practice. That's why you go over things over and over again. So you know what position you're supposed to be playing.
But if I can say this, I think one of the things as I always have to say, as the single woman out here dating, a lot of men think that they're the coach and they're not a teammate.
Yep.
And that, if we're talking about like just
that's a
dating relationship, we're teammates. You're not my coach. Yeah. I'm not your player.
But here's the thing here, Sade. Just because you've played basketball don't make you a good coach.
My.
Well, to me, the coach is God. Like, like if that's our coach, if that, then we're coming together as a team. We are sitting down saying, okay, how do we move with this situation? What's the play for this situation? How do we navigate this situation? I think a lot of times there's this societal norm of people trying to demean or even demote certain aspects of relationships because they don't serve them when it is what it is supposed to be, right? And so I believe a lot of times when we say we don't have those conversations, I think some conversations aren't necessary. If you know that something's not going to work for you, we don't need to converse about it. There's no conversation to have. If I see something in you and I see it consistently, I don't need to have a conversation with you about that. That's who you are. That's what you do. I'm going to just quietly exit stage left and keep it moving.
Auntie Maya
said, that's like diving in the deep end knowing you can't swim.
The first time.
What did you say, Terry?
I said that's like diving in the deep end knowing you can't swim.
My.
Like
if God
is your coach, then your husband should be your assistant coach. If we're gonna go down that line, You see what I'm
I
saying?
don't even believe God is the coach. I believe
I
God
don't,
is
I
the
don't either,
playbook.
but I'm just saying in that household, because how many, and if you follow sports, and probably most guys on here do, how many times do you see a coach fired in the middle of the season? You see what I'm saying? And the coach played ball. Remember when they fired Magic when he was trying to coach the Lakers? You fired Magic because Magic didn't know what he was doing.
Right. He know
You know
how
what
to
I'm saying?
he know how to play. He knew how to play his position, but
Yep.
didn't know how to play the field. But didn't know the field.
I think
Remember when Jordan picked up that high school boy? Remember he picked up that high school boy and he turned out to be a bust?
Yes.
What was his name?
It was, and he was playing for. I think he was playing for here.
He was playing for the Bobcats. I think he put him on the Bobcats because that's Jordan. That was Jordan's team, and he was a high school kid, and he turned out to be trash.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think one of the things that allowed me and Faith to win in the beginning, she was fearful. She was like, "But there's some things that you know about this marriage relationship that I don't know." I'm like, "I'm sorry. Who you talking to? Me? Because I wasn't married to you, so I don't know." Like, and the first time we did this, it was a bus. So we learning this from scratch together. I have a familiarity with it, but I don't. You know what I'm saying? And I think if we took on a lot of us, like, I don't care if you, I mean, Sade speaks some truth when she says that men do, because there's a large number. I got family members who's in relationship trouble right now because men just, but anyway, that's a whole nother convo. But yeah, if we would take on the idea that we're students of this thing until some of us are elementary school students, some of us are high school students, some of us are grad students, some of us are bachelor degree.
I'm still a high school student.
I'm just telling you.
I don't care what anybody can say. I'm a high school student.
And I think I always used to say this in the conferences, is that marriage is an institution that you enter into that you never graduate from.
Yeah, because
I got you.
that, when we're talking about roles can be interchangeable, right?
Mm-hmm.
And roles are self-identifiable.
Wow.
When you begin to impose your thoughts, your will over onto another human being that has autonomy of self, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then that's where you start to come into, issues within your relationship.
You ain't gonna tell Lee what to do.
No, you're not. It ain't happening.
Not telling me what to do.
I
tell Faith that all the time.
I want someone to tell me. I want somebody to tell me what to do without feeling that I'm weak.
But
why?
The answer that question I put out there that you pushed over, we ain't forgot about that yet.
But why would you want someone to tell you what to do? Are you lacking in insight in what you need to do in your life?
I think there's some things that, okay. I think that partnership is what program needs, not just leadership.
Okay.
There's got to come a time. Partnership.
Yeah.
Why is that telling someone what to do, though? Why is that telling you what to do? You can have a partner where you discuss things on the floor, right? Like, this is what we got going down, but I don't need you to tell me what to do. I just need to be informed of maybe what needs to be done.
Right.
I don't need power and control over me. I can do that on my own.
Got it. I got it. No, I got it. That's why I don't like. That's why I don't like you. Well, go ahead.
But like I'm
just wait, Sade, stick a pin. I love the truths, right? And sometimes the truths, hurt sometimes, and that's okay. But Andre made
framing language.
I got you, sis.
Yeah,
I got you. Andre made a comment right here, and please stick a pin, Sade. I'm just tired of being a leader, and I feel like when you're leading at church, when you're leading on the block, in your community, when you're leading, you're always leading. I think that it's okay sometimes to be dominated, to just have someone, help you You
What kind
know,
of thing is that you saying, bro?
Why do we
Yours are
always
really a going.
why
Right.
do we always sit here? How?
What kind of S&M thing?
We literally were on a straight path. We were there. We were just going
What kind of?
straight.
Yo, and it was
Well,
funny because I was sending a text and I'm listening and I'm like,
Where's
you,
it going?
you need to be black.
no, look at it,
No,
TJ.
he meant it. He over there
He meant
giggling. He
every
meant
word
what
he
he
No,
said.
no,
Every word came out his
you
mouth.
know, as Andre said, and I understand what Andre is saying to some degree. I want to be. I don't mind being led
Mhm.
as a man without feeling that I'm less of a man.
Yeah.
Nice.
You understand where I'm coming from? I don't mind, someone basically saying, really, my wife basically saying, "Hey, this is what we're doing. This is what we're going to do." So even when we take trips, right? When we take trips and vacations, man, listen, I don't even pack my own clothes.
Wow.
And I know she got that from her mother. You understand where I'm coming from with her father, but for me, sometimes I don't feel like I'm less than anyone as a man, but I don't want to also feel that way. I don't want to feel that way. Sometimes I want to be home or I want to go somewhere, and it's like this is what we're doing. This is where we're going, and I'm tired of being a leader sometimes outside and just lead me. And I'm not saying that's an issue with my home, right? But there's a lot of men out there who are saying that I just want to be home and not have to be this control freak. In other words, what does leadership look like in a home, right? Should it be stressful, or should you feel the partnership there, the weight of some certain things being put on everyone instead of just you alone? You see where I'm coming from?
I can vibe
And
with you. You sound like a black woman. Especially one that used to be single who
come
comes
on, Straw. Come on,
I
Straw.
just said, look, I know y'all have been seeing my posts. I done been triggered ever since I saw that movie. But it's real though, right? Like, and what I'm hearing you say is exactly what a tired black single mama says is I'm
Wow.
tired. I don't want to have the heavy lifting.
Mhm.
And it's fair, right? This
But
Okay. Okay.
have
I
a
don't,
partner, but it
I don't think
still
that
doesn't mean they run your life.
but I don't think that's just single mother. I think that's humans, right? Like you get tired of having I don't have children, right? I'm single. I do everything that touches my life, I have to make the decision. There is nobody for me to sit down with and say, "What do you think about this? How do you think this should go?" Every decision I make is 100% mine, and that means every failure is 100% mine, right? And so I think a lot of times people just get to the place of tired, and what you have to do when you're single is be careful that your tiredness does not lead you to desperation, right?
Mm.
Ooh.
You
Ooh.
can't
Okay.
place to where you're so tired where it's like whoever comes, whoever says yes, I'm going. Whoever says okay, I'm doing it. Like you can't get it to the place to where you're tired and your frustration leads you to the place of desperation for relationship with someone. But I think that's the conversation that is hard to have with God because it's like I'm tired. Like I'm telling you, I am exhausted and I don't see you making it any easier for me.
So it
Wow.
sounds like relational dehydration.
Like, y'all know me, like, sir, what are you doing?
Wh-
I
You
think
said
I think a lot of times in those
relationship dehydration.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like is relationship dehydration. She said that you can be so fatigued and so tired, and you hope that it doesn't lead you to desperation. When you're dehydrated, you're gonna find anything to drink.
Yeah.
so
Right? When
here's
you're
the
hungry, you're gonna find anything to pick up and eat.
And
so
not knowing that if you drink Sprite, it's gonna make you more dehydrated.
my
Indeed.
God.
Can we just add that since the pandemic, a lot of us are just exhausted? So, like, let's just, you start with that. You wake up in the morning just exhausted. or just tired. And then as you go through your day, all of these things just start to pile up.
Yeah.
Reality starts to hit in.
I
And
think
Um,
then, for
I think
example, oh,
now I was saying, Sade, I think a lot of the times too, when we get exhausted, we have to question why are we getting exhausted. I'm sorry. I'm in a season of self-reflection, if you will. And I'm
Okay.
always
Okay.
examining my moves, my thoughts, and to see how they're contributory to what I'm experiencing. Because if it's a difficulty or challenge that God has taken me through, I'm okay with that. But
yeah.
when I start contributing to my own stuff that's like causing what should the children of Israel, it was a what 3-day trip, and it took them jokers 40 years. They was
Yeah.
doing some stuff that why a 3-day trip took 40 years, right?
Mm.
And my
well,
mind, what was it that my mind goes to Elijah? You slayed 850 prophets of Baal and Asherah. This one little queen say something to you. 850 now. This one little queen say something to you, and you in a cave hiding. Then you under a tree, knocked out. It's better, God, that you just take my life. Take Are you crazy? Like, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, what is it in terms of his faith that contributed to that outcome and what he was feeling like?
Mhm.
Like I see the parallel in how I operate sometimes. I'm frustrated because I'm not getting what I want when I want what I want. And God is saying, I'm not saying that you can't have it. A delay is not a denial. I'm just telling you that before I put something of this magnitude in your lap, I gotta tighten you up in a couple of areas, right?
Yeah.
You're not gonna put a child to bench press 350 pounds on a bench. He can't do that. He's not equipped to do that. But if you build him up over a period of time and then put him back up under that 350, he gonna knock it out. No doubt. Why? Because he's been prepped and primed and trained and all of that stuff. And God is saying there's some stuff that you want out of this life that's heavy in terms of weight, but I got to make sure that you can handle that weight before. And sometimes I'm watching my stuff and I'm angry, right? I want my body to look a certain way, but you still drinking Sprite. You know what I'm saying? Like,
or,
you got this thing
or
that's contributory to your outcome, and you frustrated when you know the stuff that you're doing don't align with what you want in terms of an
Listen,
outcome. You
Quest,
And
crazy.
sometimes
you
it's
be in
not
the middle.
always intentional, though.
No, it's not.
Because
I'm just saying it's just sometimes our desires and who we are as individuals in connection with what we want in terms of an end goal. Sometimes I like God can't just
well, so
But
so let me
wait,
give
sometimes,
an
wait,
example.
wait,
Let me
wait,
give
hold on. Mina, and then Sade. Go ahead, Mina, and then Sade, please.
I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I be in the thick of it, knowing that I'm in the thick of it. And maybe in that moment, I could turn around and be like, you know what? I'm just not going to do this. But I'm not going to lie. Sometimes that joker feel good. So I'm just going to stay there. So when we're talking about self-reflection and we're talking about insight and being insightful, let's also add to that quest. Yeah, like there's sometimes I be in it and I know that thing, the consequence is gonna be rough later, but it just be feeling so good in that moment.
well,
Wow,
and
Sade,
that's
Sade.
the difference for me
Okay.
because I've been in places yeah, this is some
I think sometimes though we discredit the fact that life is life, right? Like for example, 2 weeks ago, I take my car to get an alignment. $150. They're like, oh, your car wasn't you didn't need an alignment. You need 4 new tires. I'm sorry. Like literally, I go into the tire shop and I'm sitting there and I'm like, where's my husband? Like I'm tired of doing this. I'm tired. And in that tiredness now, could I go back and call somebody and be like, hey, I need some
You,
tires?
you, you know,
Or do I have to just sit there and say, like, God, like, this is what I'm tired of. This is what I'm frustrated with because this is life. And when I tell people all the time, I am the only woman in my family to make it to 38 and be single, never married, and have no children. Right. So I don't have an example to look at to see how do you do this? How do you navigate being in a career, being the Lord of your own everything, and you don't have anybody that you could go and sit down with that says, hey, I'm gonna take this off your plate today. That's
uh,
the tired and frustrated that you can't negate. That's just life.
you see,
yeah, but I
here's the
think that sometimes we can take things off our own plate, right?
okay, okay.
A lot of times we add, and I think that's kind of what Quest, and let me know if that's where you was going, Quest. But sometimes we add things to our plate that we do not need, right? Our eyes are bigger than our proverbial stomachs, right? And so
Mm.
to kind of take that step back and look introspectively to see, are we adding and contributing to this weight, this overload, right?
But Leah, sometimes we add more weight on, sometimes we add more crap on. I'm going back to something that Mina said, because that covers the gap of being lonely. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Wendy let me listen to something today, man. I wish I could play it for you guys, but it had to do with not communicating, right? Not communicating. And every time he does not communicate with her or she does not communicate with him, you're leaving a gap. And when
Mhm.
you leave this gap, anything happens within the gap, whether it be messing around, whether it be now you're thinking this person is thinking this or this person is that, because you're not communicating, what have you. And I think that a lot of times to fill that gap, when you're not communicating, even if it's somebody you dealing with, it doesn't have to be marriage or even in friendships and things of that nature, you fill it with what you need to fill it with. Most of the times, I believe, most of the time, because of our frustrations, that we fill the gap with stuff that are not holy, that's not positive. It doesn't build or any of that. But like Armina said, and like you said, Quest, I'm good in that feeling. I'm good in that. I'm good in that. And the scary thing about that is that sometimes, right, we can be in a place where we get comfortable, where we don't even want it fixed.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I still want to be okay. But we don't even want it fixed. And
Let's
and and, and
go.
that's that in general. Somebody
Paul,
just hit
the gap
some
is discomfort, right?
okay.
As
Uh,
clinicians, and Mina and Terry, I'm certain probably know where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
Very early on, getting into this thing called therapy, I was taught that sometimes clinicians, they're uncomfortable with the silence. And so they
mm,
start talking, right? They just start saying stuff, trying to fill in the gaps, right? Because the other person isn't saying anything.
Yeah.
And instead of us just learning how to just sit there in the silence,
In the sun.
allowing for us to be uncomfortable and allowing them to then lead, we got to find ourselves doing something. Maybe
mm,
our relationships, we just got to sit with the discomfort in the silence of the gap, period, and allow for the other, right, partner to then say something if we don't know exactly what we need to be doing. Don't move
Yeah,
and do nothing.
ah,
yeah, and it's
The
it's
thing I think people struggle with though is if you can't do that with God, how you gonna do that with another human being?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
mm,
it to sit in discomfort, to sit in frustration, to sit in the silence of what is happening, because it's easy for life to happen and then you know what, I'm not gonna sit in the silence, I'm gonna go find something else to fill this gap, right? I'm gonna go find somebody else. But to sit with God and be like, I don't know, like this is very uncomfortable, I've never been here before. A lot of us don't know how to do that with him, so it's going to be hard for us to do that with
My
somebody
goodness.
and not try to make it something that it's not.
But
mm.
I
God
think it's
forces you
easier.
into the silence. You
Uh,
can't get away from God's silence.
You can't get
Mm.
away from you.
yeah,
This sometimes, Leah, when we be talking about, Mina said it a while ago. It feel good. I've been in that place where I'm like, damn, this feel good. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? But I know at the end of the day, when this is all over and said and done, I gotta pay the piper.
You
And a
True,
lot,
true.
still,
You still
a lot of
got
the
to.
Keep
times, a
running.
lot of the times, I'm paying more than I was willing to pay. And
Right.
Yes, yes.
that's
the
the
and,
reason
prices
and,
why
are
when I'm like, well, that's the
and
reason why when I look at it, I'm like, yeah, this feel good. Think yeah,
yeah,
it can feel good to you if you
for the
want to make it
moment.
feel good too, but you're gonna have to pay for this.
right.
Definitely.
It's
Terry,
here's the
Terry.
thing. There's several things. Quest, it's like what you just said. Okay, because everywhere you go, there you are. You see what I'm
Oh,
saying? You
nigga.
can't get rid of it. Everywhere you go, there you are. It's hard
Everywhere
doing
you
it. It's
go,
hard.
there you
Yeah, there you are. You
every
can't get rid of you. And so when when you say it feels comfortable, it feels good in here, that's doing the familiar. You know what I'm saying? Even
Mm-hmm.
though the familiar doesn't work, you think it works for you and it's not doing anything, but for that moment, you're pacifying you. We're doing the familiar. Now, I believe this. If you Friday said, if you can't do this with God, how can you do it with someone else? I believe it's easier to do it with someone else because you placed God in a situation to where he's going to judge you. So you don't do it with him. You do it with all your friends and everybody else instead of going to him to help. You see what I'm saying? And I think Leah, you said something about it. It was a comment you made about it. It's like, hey, here's the situation. You should be talking to me, but you talk to everybody else.
My God.
Everybody else. And then you come to when you could have had this handled a
A
long
long
time
time.
ago.
And nobody else that can help. You talk to
Everybody
everybody else
else,
who can't help
and
you.
everybody else is either coming from a position of their past crap that they're putting on you, their current crap that they're putting on you. And so they're giving you advice from a position where they have not done. Tell me what you've done.
And they're not
How's that
advisors.
working for you? And so you talk to all of them, and then you finally come to the end and fall prostrate when you could have done this first. What does it say, Pastor? Seek ye first. And so
The kingdom of
therefore,
God.
we're
Yeah.
seeking everybody else. And it's easy to talk to them because I don't want to talk to God. I don't want to talk to God because I don't want to be judged. They judge you. Judgments block goals. Remember that. They block goals. They block vision. You're
And
blocking
not
your
just
goals.
God is going to judge you, T. He is
He's
going
not,
to,
but because
right.
we put him in this
Here,
position, you see what
here.
I'm saying? We forget everything. All right, so here's the thing: doing the familiar. Remember when Mike Tyson got in when he was fighting with Holyfield? And Holyfield, what did he do? He bit Holyfield's ear off, right? Mike went back to what? He went back to, he abandoned all his boxing and everything because he was losing. So he did what? I got to go back to what I know. If anybody know, Mike is a brawler. He ain't really a boxer. He a brawler, okay? And so he went back to his street stuff because he was losing. And that's what we do. We do that. Mike went back to the familiar, what he did on the streets of the Catskills and wherever he was. He went back to the familiar, and that's what we do. We go back to what we know that doesn't work.
And it doesn't
Terry,
work. It doesn't work.
Mason, Mason had to be maybe about about 4 or 5 years old, and I'll never forget this. He was in the room, and I'm in my bedroom, and his room is right next to mine, and I'm hearing, I can't do it. I'm talking about having a complete meltdown in the bedroom. He's on the floor struggling, trying to take his shirt off. After I've showed him a couple of times how to take, you put your elbow in, you lift your shirt up above your head. He's trying to get the shirt off and can't get the shirt off. So he's on the floor. I mean, he's going through one. I begin to stand up in the doorway and I'm looking at him. He see me looking at him. So you see me, see you, see me, see you, right? I'm watching him and he's still fighting with it. And every now he take a 1 or 2 second pause and look at me. And then he go right back in it again and struggle with the thing. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm going to watch and see how long he going to do this. All he has to do is say, Daddy, can you help me?
Can you help me?
And
Yeah, y'all messing me. Y'all messing
what
with
I
me,
see
bro. You're
us
messing with me.
doing is we always do this stuff, these situations that we get into that, like, for real, from the jump that it's not like you didn't know, but I got to prove my independence. I got to do this my way. And that's really what happened with him, right? Instead of just saying, Daddy, can you help me make this decision? I stood in that doorway maybe about 15, 20 minutes watching him just do this. I'm talking about it was a long time. And finally, when I said to him, all you got to do is say, Daddy, can you help me? And it's done, right? Daddy, can you help? All that crying, all that, the shirt done got tore up in the process. The shirt done became collateral damage. And I'm saying to some of us that, like, for real, you doing what you're doing and you making decisions that you really shouldn't be making on your own. And all you got to do is go to God in prayer and it's a done deal.
Well, guys, I say this all the time as we come to a close that I can't stand y'all. Can't stand y'all. I am with Armina.
Okay,
Armina
good.
with the mindset of sometimes I don't because I don't want to be alone. Hearing from Terry, really, that hey, there's certain things, places you put yourself, and we've got to recognize it's not working. You know, when you hear Sade make these, make these comments like, yo, you know what? The problem is that I feel good where I am. It don't have to be right. I feel I'm settled. I'm settled where I am. And really, Leah make the comments along with others that, hey, you know what? I'm protecting my peace. I'm protecting my peace. So you can, I don't have an addiction. What do you call approval addiction? I'm not worried about that. And everybody has come from their own space of why you are where you are and why you feel the need to be where you are. So I'm gonna land this plane on this, right? And I'm so glad we didn't deal with my issue, Terry. Thank you for. I want to thank everyone for
Podcast the
glossing.
other way.
Thank you. I
We
want to
got
thank
the whole
everybody. Say it one more time, Amina.
we have the whole month.
We got the whole month. We do. We got the whole month. And I just want to ask this question right around the board, right around the board. And if anybody's on with us right now, you can also answer the question for yourself. But I'm gonna I'm gonna start with Sade. I'm gonna ask you a question. If you just a quick answer, how do you protect your peace?
Oh, hey, you should have started with me. You know what? At this stage of my life, I'm a one strike and you're out person. Um, because of my former experience and just where I'm at now, I don't have the energy to understand foolishness.
That's
And
it.
so I'm the kind of person now where if I hear something, see something, or observe something, I will tell you why I choose not to have you in my life. And that's it. There's no let's go back and discuss it. Let's go. It at this point, if at any level it makes me feel uncomfortable, I gotta be out.
Gotcha. Hey, Sade, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We'll see you in the green room.
Good night.
Hey. Um, Sade. Sorry about that. Leah,
Mhm.
um, how do you protect your peace?
I don't engage with things that I already know is going to disrupt my peace.
You better say
Right?
that.
I've lived
Mm,
to
Say
know
that.
what I can and cannot tolerate, what I will not tolerate, even if I could tolerate it. I just don't. So that's how I protect it.
yeah, you weren't trying to give a thesis with that one, huh?
I'm just saying, I just do not engage. Like, I know what works for Leah at this age,
I
right?
got you.
I've had enough trial and error, I've had enough experiences to know that certain things don't jive with my spirit. And I'm not
Mm,
going to open it up for individuals or situations or movies or music or anything that is going to keep me up at night. I'm going to bed, and
I
I'm going
got you. Good.
to bed nice and easy.
I'm sorry. You're gonna be what?
Nice and easy.
Yes, Lonnie. Yes, Lonnie. We'll see you in the green room. We'll see you in the green room. Come on, Terry. Talk to us, man. How do you protect your peace?
Um, I kind of go with off of what Leah said. If I know a shark's in the water, I'm not getting in. Okay, I refuse to participate in the foolishness. And then also one of the other things I always say on the show is you strengthen your boundaries. You see what I'm saying? You got to strengthen
Yeah.
your boundaries, and strengthening your boundaries means um, it doesn't necessarily mean cutting people off. It just means that I don't muck with you like that. You see what I'm saying? I don't. We can all be in the same places. I can strengthen my boundaries and be like, I don't muck with them like that no more. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
You
How do
got
you
know,
you.
it's like, how do you
How
spell
do
it?
you?
Muck. Now, if you want to replace the M with another consonant, you can. But
He says I don't luck with you like that.
yeah,
You know.
I, I, I don't. And that's what strengthening your boundaries is. If somebody betrays you, Paul, okay, they
Yeah.
betray you or whatever, and you're like, you know what? As my mother said, I'm not going to do evil for evil. I'm going to go ahead and strengthen my boundaries. And then when the texts stop and the calls stop, you see what I'm saying? Or you're letting them go to voicemail, or you're not responding to them or whatever, they'll get the message. I didn't cut you off. You see what I'm saying? I just don't muck with you like that no more. You can call back. Oh yeah, what's going on? Hey, how you doing? You can be cordial. I just don't muck with you. That strengthening your boundaries is hood for I don't muck with you like that. You know what I'm saying? That's what that is.
I got you, man. See you in the green room. See you in the green room.
Right.
Thank you, man, Terry. Thank you so much.
Mina.
Yeah, say what? Yes, sirs.
Mina, how do you protect your peace?
I isolate. Like I just slide away, and you won't see me, you won't hear from me for a while. Because in protecting the peace,
Somebody said muck that. I'm sorry.
in protecting the peace is where, at least for me, I go and fill my tank up. Because if I'm in it, then I'm depleted. But I can't allow myself to be depleted, because what it takes to fill me back up is a whole lot more. If I can recognize, and I think one of the things that I got to say is protecting your peace, you got to recognize when your peace is being challenged, when your peace is on the line. And some of us, we so tunnel vision that sometimes we don't see it until it's too late. So being able to see that thing right there is going to take you to a place where there is no return, or a long return. So I just duck, and I chill for a bit.
I like that. And I'm gonna say it's not the answer for everything, like Terry said and Leah said.
Oh, and I just use this word. I'm not avoiding anything. I'm just, in order to protect my peace, sometimes it doesn't require conversation, because that destroys the peace for me sometimes. Sometimes I just got to just step away.
I hear you. I got you. We'll see you in the green room, girl. We'll see you in the green room.
Good night, everybody.
Night.
Quest, man, let me tell you something. Every time I think that these guys don't bring it, I always, these people are efficient people, bro.
These are conversationalists.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I've learned a lot tonight, bro. I learned a lot tonight.
Yeah.
JoJo just made a comment here. She said inner peace is the new success.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
Claudette's like tune out and turn off.
That's it. I promise you, man, in this season, P, I'm gonna be honest with you. If I sense that you're gonna disrupt my peace, I distance myself from you.
I want to do that.
I want to do that. You have to, in the space and place that you in, you have to, because to be at the top of your, let me tell you something. I know for a fact, not for a fact, we all read the word. Jesus he had 12 disciples, but he did things with only 3.
Right. And outside of the 3 of them, he stepped out by himself.
Okay. So that further lets me know that I need me time.
Yeah.
I need people who are classified as really friends, not an associate, not a whatever the other classifications we have. Why? Because we are always living life on assignment. When we are chilling on vacation, you still on assignment. And if I allow you to disrupt me, and like for real, then I'm off. I'm off my game. I'm focused on some stuff I ain't got no business focused on. Anyway.
I got you. I'm gonna throw you in the green room just for the heck of it. But I just want to share this with you real quick. This is what we're doing all month.
Yep.
That's what we're
That's
doing
it.
all month. You know, that's what we're doing all month, man.
That's it.
And I think it's really important that we make it our business, right, to
Mm.
grow. To be, I say, to be where God wants us to be.
Yep.
Um, man, somebody just said, PG, in your role, you got to step away from the noise. I hear you,
Tell me,
sis.
bro.
I hear you. I hear you. But man, great time together, man. Great time.
Yes, indeed.
I'll see
Yes,
you in the
indeed.
green room. I'll see you in the green room. All right, big man. Well, learned a lot tonight. And so just be blessed, everyone. Be blessed. Know that in this coming week, we'll be uploading all of our videos to our YouTube page. But more than that, share this with other people. And I'm going to ask you what I used to do for Bible Boot Camp. I used to ask people, share this with 5 people. Have the discussions. Know this, that this unscripted conversation should be happening in your home, in your church, and in your community. Be blessed, y'all.